Today we're talking about a new term I'm starting called gasfighting. You've heard of gaslighting, which is essentially manipulating somebody thinking they're crazy about a belief they have. Well, gasfighting is about addressing somebody that is truly living in a fantasy world. About 4 or 5 years ago, I had a tenant that I came to find was a victim of domestic abuse. When I had a moment, scheduled some time, I said, hey, if you need help, we could figure out a way to get you out of this situation. And in that conversation, she was in denial that nothing was happening, even though there was clear evidence to the opposite. This is what I'm calling gasfighting, where you're bringing up true abuse to somebody and they're continuing to want to be in denial, even if it's good for them. Another more national example of what this looks like is we all know the abuser known as Trump. He was responsible for, of course, 2 weeks ago, the $2 trillion wiped off of the economy, and people are still in denial. Oh, this guy, he's fine, he's great. He's They're undyingly loyal to an abuser, even when it comes to the fact that it was the worst dip since the COVID situation in 2020. Even though he's responsible for 1 million people dying under his hand and telling people to drink Clorox, or what was it, some other sanitizing material to fix their problem, essentially minimizing the problem for millions of people, and just being an awful leader, even though he's the direct example of why inflation has gotten to where it got to, essentially being an awful leader. And they're all like, hey, he's just, I just love the guy because he's so real with everybody. I can't get enough of the guy. He's just fantastic for me. Whereas, even after he's fought through 6 bankruptcies and essentially is a fake billionaire, according to every other billionaire around him, his peers, even though when he does resurface with money and he owes thousands of people money, he doesn't care to pay any of them. In fact, he fights them with lawsuits, even though they're little guys like carpenters, plumbers that have done work at his properties. And yet, the denial continues. You can't get enough of the guy. He's fantastic. So, whenever you are trying to address somebody with the facts of an abuser in their life, you know, they may try to run that back to you as, hey, you're just gaslighting me, you're trying to manipulate me. That's going to be hurtful because in some cases, there are narcissists that do want to manipulate you. That's true. But you also got to be recognizant that you may be gasfighting, and that's going to require a fight that may take years because people, if they're stuck in their ways or stubborn, that may take years for them to get through. They may not actually ever get through that. They want to be stuck into that cycle of, this is comfortable to me and I want to stay here. So go enjoy this new term, even though you will not enjoy it because people in stubborn denial, it's hard to work with them. And I'll be first to confess, I've been in denial about many things in my life, in my past especially. I like to think I've spent a lot of time fixing those things. But ultimately, I've had people around me like that have put in the work, and eventually, at some point, I do listen to things. But yeah, we just gotta pray for these people, pray for me even to get through stubborn belief systems, uh, normalizing behavior that's not normal, and so we could have a better society. And I'll see you in the next video.